my dear students, welcome back to biology class. So today also we are carrying on with the first chapter, the living world. So today we are going to study about taxonomic categories. Okay, so in the last session we studied about classification. So during classification I told you the organisms, they are grouped, okay, based on similarities. Now classification, it is not a single step process. Okay, there are so many steps involved, and you can see that this is the arrangement. That is, I told you classification is done in different rankings. Okay, different rankings. That is what you can see here. Okay. So taxonomic categories. So this each taxa. So I told you about a particular word called as taxa or taxon. That is nothing but when classification is done, as I told you, it is done in different rankings. Okay, and this each category or each ranking is called as taxon. Okay, so this each one we call it as taxonomic categories, and this whole arrangement of different categories in taxonomy we call it as taxonomic hierarchy. Okay, it is called as taxonomic hierarchy. So this whole arrangement of different categories or the taxonomic categories, the full arrangement we call it as taxonomic hierarchy. So to know each category, we'll study one by one in detail. Now when you see the classification, the basic unit of classification is species. Okay, so species form the basic unit of classification. Then you can see the different categories or the rankings named genus, then family, then order, class, phylum or division, and then kingdom. Okay, so as I told, when grouping is done for plants or animals, it is based on the similarity. So when we group any particular organism, naturally it is based on the similarities. So now what we do is, one by one we will see it in detail. So first we will study about species. Now what is species? Species, we say, it's a group of individual organisms which has lot of similarities. Okay, so it's a group of organisms, living organisms, which has a lot of similarities. Then we put it in one group which we call as species. So as I told, in classification, species forms the basic unit. Okay, now we'll take some example. Mangifera indica. Now this is the botanical name of mango. Okay, we'll take one more example. Now you can see this is the botanical name of mango, that is Mangifera indica, and Solanum tuberosum is the botanical name of potato. Now we will see here in this is the species name. Okay, indica will indicate the species name, whereas here tuberosum is a species name, or we can, as I told, it is a specific epithet. Okay, so we use the term specific epithet or the species name. So now in mango indica, this is the species name. Okay, and in Solanum tuberosum you see that the term tuberosum is the species name. So here you should know this is species name. Now what about the first term? So we have studied that in detail in the previous session also, that this forms the genus name. So in Mangifera indica, Mangifera is the genus name. What about in Solanum tuberosum? So this will be the genus name. Okay, so now just look at these terms and look here. So you see species forms, as I told, it forms a basic unit of classification. So here indica is a species, here tuberosum is a species. Okay, and this species, that is tuberosum, belongs to the genus Solanum, whereas here indica belongs to the genus Mangifera. Okay, now you should know one more thing, that in one genus there may be many species. Now for example, Solanum tuberosum is a botanical name of potato. Now I'll give you another example. Solanum melongena. Now this is the botanical name of brinjal. Okay, now all of you are aware that melongena forms the species name and Solanum forms the genus name. Now if you observe, the genus name is same, Solanum, here also you see Solanum. So the meaning of this is, these two species, that is tuberosum and melongena, it belongs to the common genus which we call as Solanum. So you should know, if different species, okay, species tuberosum, species melongena, they have a lot of similarities. So because of that, what is done, the similar species will be put under one genus. Okay, so keep one thing in mind, that species forms the basic unit of classification. So after species, next we'll move on to the next taxonomic category, that is genus. So what is genus? So genus consists of group of related species. Okay, so species, when 2 or 3 species have a lot of similarities, then those species together is put under one genus. So to say it in the other way, genus consists of group of related species. Okay, so we'll try to understand that with some examples. So genus Solanum, okay, it consists of species. We take 2 species as example here, so which we studied previously when we studied the species. Tuberosum, Solanum tuberosum, which is potato, Solanum melongena, which is brinjal. So if you see the scientific name, that is the genus Solanum has these 2 species, that is tuberosum and melongena. Since these 2 species have a lot of similarities, many similar characters, because of that, these 2 species are put under one genus. So that is what I told you, genus consists of group of related species. So when many species have lot of similarities, they all are put under one genus. To take one more example here, Panthera leo is the scientific name of lion. Panthera tigris is the scientific name of tiger, and Panthera pardus is the scientific name of leopard. Now if you observe, this is a species name, that is leo, tigris and pardus. Now these 3 species have lot of similarities. So because of the similarities, these 3 species are put under one genus which we call as Panthera. So Panthera is a genus which consists of many species. So I have taken an example of 3 species here: Panthera leo, Panthera tigris and Panthera pardus. Okay, so genus consists of group of related species. Okay, that is about genus. What is the next category? That is a family. Now, the family, we say that group of related genus. So when many genus have similarities, the genus will be put under one family. So here in this hierarchy you can see the next level of category is a family. So family means it has a group of related genus. So when few genus have a lot of similarities, many genus will be put under one family. So family has group of related genus. Now we'll take an example here. Now we studied about genus Solanum. Okay. In the same way, there is other genus called as Petunia, another genus Datura. Now these three genus have many similar characters. So because of that, these three genus are put under one family which we call as Solanaceae. Okay, and one more example we can take, Panthera, the example what I gave you here. Okay, so this genus Panthera and another genus Felis. Now these two genus have lot of similar characters. The animals show lot of similarities. Okay, because of that, these two genus are put under one family which is called as Felidae. Okay, so with this you can understand that the similarities, based on similarities they are grouped, and these groups, as I told, it is made in different rankings. So group of genus which have similarities are put under another higher ranking which we call as family. So family consists of group of related genus. Okay, so that is about the category family. So next we are moving on to the next taxonomic category, that is order. Okay, so order consists of group of related families. So when many families have similarities, they are put under one group which is called as order. Okay, so example, we studied about family Solanaceae. Okay, in the same way there is another family called Convolvulaceae. Now the Solanaceae and Convolvulaceae, they are two different families which have lot of similarities. So because of that, these two families are put under one order, that is Polymoniales. Okay, so this is order which consists of these families. So we have taken the example of only two, but each ranking, that is it may be order, it may be class, for example Polymoniales or here Mammalia, it has many other orders also. We have just taken the example of two. Okay, in the same way we can see it in animals also, where the families, the related families are put under one order. So order consists of group of related families. Now after order, next category what we study is class. Now class has group of related order. So when many orders have similarities, they are put under a single class. Okay, so one example here, class Mammalia, it includes order Carnivora and order Primata. There are many other orders also, we just taken the example of two. Now this order Carnivora and order Primata, since they have similarities, they are put under one class which is called as Mammalia. So we can see as we go higher in the taxonomic hierarchy, okay, the number of similar characters will go on decreasing. Okay, so in species we see more characters that is similar. As we go higher and higher, we see that the number of similar characters will go on decreasing. Okay, so now after class, next the group what we have to study is phylum or division. Now this phylum, so phylum consists of group of related classes. Now we see two terms here, phylum or division. So usually phylum is a term we use for animals and division is a term we use for plants. So even in plants and even in animals, we see that group of related class will be put under a single phylum or single division. We go to the next higher category, that is kingdom. Okay, so kingdom is the highest unit of classification here, and kingdom consists of group of related phylum or division. So usually we say that all animals are put under one kingdom, that is kingdom Animalia, and plants are put under one kingdom which we call as kingdom Plantae. So apart from that, there are other three kingdoms, because we study that the kingdoms, there are 5 major kingdoms. Kingdom Plantae, kingdom Animalia. Along with that, we also know that there are microorganisms, different types of microorganisms, okay, so which will include kingdom Monera, kingdom Protista, and kingdom Mycota. Okay, so all this about the different kingdoms we'll be studying in the further chapters. So know that kingdom has group of related phylum or division. So as I told, as we go higher and higher in the taxonomic hierarchy, the number of similar characters will go on decreasing. Okay, so when we go to the higher level, it will be hardly 1 or 2 characters similarity based on which it has to be grouped. So grouping becomes a bit difficult. A detailed study has to be made for the classification to put them under different rankings. Okay, so that is about taxonomic categories. So next we are going to study about taxonomical aids. Now, the study of taxonomic categories of different plants and different animals, it is important in the field of, it may be agriculture, industry, or even to know about the biodiversity of our earth. So in any ways, the study of taxonomic categories is important, and to make this study easier or to study this, we need the specimens. Okay, the specimens, it may be of the animal or it may be the specimen of the plant. Okay, it is important because to make a study, it is important to collect these specimens, to identify it, and also the classification. Okay, so to identify any organism, it may be plant, it may be animal, the identification is important, and for the identification we actually need the specimens, the live specimens or the preserved one. Okay, and you know that the laboratory work is important, the field work is important, so for all that the specimen is required. So biologists have a different procedure or technique to make the study easier with all these help. So when we say help, okay, that it may be the specimens in a different way. So anything, it may be live specimen, it may be a preserved one or information or whatever. So all these things which are helping in the study of taxonomy, okay, or the taxonomic categories, we call it as taxonomical aids. So what are the different types of taxonomical aids we will study now one by one. So the first taxonomical aid which we are going to study is herbarium. So what is herbarium? We say it is a storehouse where the plant specimens, okay, so the plants are dried, pressed and preserved on sheets of paper like this. Okay, so on a sheet of paper, the plant specimen usually along with the inflorescence, that is along with the flowers, okay, it is dried, pressed and preserved. Okay, so a storehouse which consists of the specimens like this, we call it as herbarium. Okay, so this sheets like this. So you can see I brought a herbarium sheet of 2 plants here. Okay, so you can see that the plant is completely dry here. It is stuck over the sheet. And this sheet will be preserved, okay, and it will be according to a standard system of classification. That is, it will be arranged according to a standard system of classification. Okay, and on the sheet you can also see that there will be information about the plant. So in one corner there will be information about the plant. You can have a closer look of this herbarium sheet here. So you can see the plant has been dried and stuck over the herbarium sheet. Okay, and in one corner of the herbarium sheet you can see some information there. So on the herbarium sheet we have to give the information about from which locality the plant was collected, the date of collection of the plant, the botanical name of the plant, the common name of the plant, and the plant belongs to which family, the family's name, and as well as the collector's name. So all this information will be given on the herbarium sheet. So herbarium forms a place of reference to get the information about different types of plants. Okay, so that is about herbarium. And the next taxonomical aid which we are going to study is botanical garden. So botanical garden is a place where we can see the plants in their live condition. So plants and trees are maintained, and each and every plant there will be labeled with their botanical name and the family to which it belongs to. Okay, so in botanical garden we can see the plants in their live condition. So that's the difference what we see between botanical garden and herbarium. So in both the taxonomical aid we are actually studying about the plants. But in herbarium, plants here are dried and preserved. So it's a dried specimen in herbarium. Whereas in botanical garden, it's a garden which has the live specimens or the live plants. And we get the information about its botanical name and the family to which it belongs to. There are some few famous botanical gardens. So one which is at Kew, that is England. Then we have Indian Botanical Garden. Okay, so this is in India, and also we have National Botanical Research Institute. Okay, this is in Lucknow and this is in Howrah. So National Botanical Garden and the National Botanical Research Institute. So we see different botanical gardens at different places. These are the few famous ones. Okay, so that is about the botanical garden. Next taxonomical aid which we are going to study is museum. So museum is usually, it is maintained in educational institutions like schools and colleges. So we will see in museum different specimens. It may be plants or it may be animals. They are maintained in the mode of how it is preserved varies. That is, in some plants and animals we see that it is preserved in a jar which contains the preservative solution. Or we also see some specimens which are dried and preserved. Some larger animals, it will be stuffed. The animals will be stuffed and preserved in the museum. Okay, and even the skeleton of certain animals are also maintained. So in the museum, we will see that different varieties of animals and plants are preserved. Even insects are preserved in the insect box. So insect will be dried and it will be pinned in a insect box. So in the museum, different varieties of plants and animals, they are preserved with different method. So that we will see in museum, which is again a taxonomical aid. So after museum, we are going to study about the next taxonomic category, that is zoological park. Now this zoological park, which we commonly call as zoo, okay, so it's a place where the animals are maintained, okay, and human beings, that is humans, take care of it. So it's an environment where the animals will be maintained with the man who takes care of these animals, and also he'll try to provide the same type of habitat. That is, for example, some animals which are living in extremely cold climate, and the zoological park may be in a place where the temperature may be high. So if we have to maintain that particular animal, they have to maintain a place where the temperature has to be maintained low. So they're trying to create an artificial habitat for that particular animal. So they'll try to make the habitat as same as their original habitat. So animals will be maintained. So they are maintained for us. We can study about the behavior of the animals, the food habitats of the animal. So all that is studied in zoological park. Okay, that is the next taxonomical aid. Then next we are going to study about key. So key will give us information about different plants and animals. Now key is actually based on contrast characters. Okay, it will have a set of characters. Okay, and always it's called as couplet. Okay, so contrast character, it's a pair of character where the study will go on like you have to accept one and you have to reject one. Okay, so acceptance and rejection. So one among that has to take place and it goes on leading. And at each statement which is given in the key, we call it as lead. Okay, so with this key, we can come to a conclusion about the name or the genus or the species of particular plants and animals. Okay, so it is having, as I told, the contrast characters. A pair of characters will be given where one has to be accepted, one has to be rejected. So this key will give us information about plants and animals of a particular habitat. So along with this, there are so many other where we can store the information like manuals, flora, monographs, okay, so flora will give us information about one particular area or a particular habitat, the complete information of what all types of plants are there in that particular area. And also manuals will give you information about the name and the botanical name of particular plants or animals. Monographs also will give us information about a particular taxa. Okay, so all this different we say help which we take to make a detailed study of different taxonomic categories, as I told, which is called as taxonomical aids, and these are some of the taxonomical aids. Okay, so with this we complete the first chapter. So let's meet in the next session. Thank you.